number 3. Normally, that'd be all you'd need for hours of important conversation, insight, and analysis. But as you certainly know, Joe Biden announced yesterday that he is ending his campaign for president. Well, he sort of announced it. He endorsed Kamala Harris as his replacement. But here are the facts. Joe Biden resigns via X, formerly Twitter. The White House staff finds out as it's released. They had no idea. So did his campaign. The Joe Biden resignation letter, not an official letterhead. His signature, man, I looked at it. Doesn't look like his signature. It's suspect. Joe Biden tweets a heart emoji. The White House wipes Biden's schedule clean. The White House chief of staff calls cabinet and manages communications. Frank Biden confirms that health was a factor. Frank Biden with NBC News said this: we're blessed to have whatever time we have left with Joe Biden. Whatever time we have left. No live press conference with Joe Biden. No photographs of Joe Biden. Not even any indication. Is he alive? It's all very serious, and I'll get into what it means and how it works. But honestly, after senile Joe dumped his campaign and endorsed Kamala, this is all I could think about. Listen.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby. No.
There you have it, Cruella de Kamala. Democrats, while always yelling about democracy, have rejected the will of their own voters and forced Joe Biden to step aside. Sounds like a coup, doesn't it? All they have done, all the way to this point, is lie, lie, lie. They told us over and over again how Joe Biden was a vigorous and serious man, that he was fit as a fiddle and worked on complex problems behind the scenes. None of that was true. Not one bit. Not before 2020 in the election. They've lied since then. Who lied the most? Well, I think the national news media as a whole, but the biggest individual liar maybe has been Kamala Harris. And the Republicans were ready for this, lying in wait. They knew. Listen.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So the first ad up and running already from the Republicans. Here's the first big thing. Joe Biden must resign now, today. Today. We saw his performance in the June 27th debate. We all know he is not capable of running the country. And now he's admitted, somebody has anyhow, he's admitted that by ending his campaign. So if he doesn't have the stamina to run for president, he certainly... well, he sure as hell doesn't have the stamina to be president. Joe should resign. That's clear. And the calls for him to do so will continue and get louder. For now, let's focus on Joe's endorsement or alleged endorsement of Kamala, whatever that is. Also quickly endorsed by a host of others, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, but so far has not gotten the nod from Barack Obama. And she's not going to. Obama released a statement, reading in part, "We will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges." Well, apparently not, because a lot of big names have endorsed her so far. But no endorsement from Barack Obama. In fact, it's not even close. And that may be because Barack Obama wants to have all the Democrat hopefuls kiss his ring for a few days or a few weeks until the DNC convention in Chicago, which, by the way, I will be there. Ivy and I scheduled this months in advance. Others didn't. We did. We'll be there to cover it for you from the front row. Could also be because, well, that Barack knows the real Kamala Harris is a very tainted brand. Many of you only know Vice President Harris as a cackling farce who makes even Joe Biden sound coherent by comparison. Here's more of what you should know. Her career in politics started when she was an ambitious prosecutor and then the district attorney for San Francisco. One of the issues where she stood out was in marijuana convictions. You probably knew this, but we're going to revisit this. During her 8 years on that job, Harris convicted 1,956 people for marijuana possession. 1,956. That was a rate much greater than her predecessors. Didn't stop her from admitting, however, that she smoked pot herself and laughed about it. Here's Cruella de Cackle doing a radio interview when she was running for president just 5 years ago. It's a reminder. Listen.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in
And
college,
I inhale. I did inhale.
You did inhale? Okay.
It was a long time ago. But yes.
I know you have to go. They say you have to go. I just wanted to
I
ask.
just broke news.
I mean, was it in college? See, I like stuff like that. That's a real honest
It's
answer.
real.
Was it a blunt or joint?
It was a joint.
Hey.
Yeah.
You remember the high?
I do.
I'm sure all the nearly 2,000 people that she busted and threw in jail for pot really found that to be hilarious, just a real riot. It was moments of infamy like that one that sank her 2020 presidential campaign almost immediately. But before she ran for president, she was a U.S. Senator from California for 4 years as well. She got that job running in one of those one-party races California holds to make sure Republicans have no chance to win ever, basically. And ever since, Harris has proven to be just as unbattle-tested and unprepared as you would expect someone from a one-party fawning news media state to be. There's just nothing of real substance here. There's just not. Kamala Harris, she polls worse than Joe Biden up against Donald Trump, for example. But during that 2020 presidential race, she never even polled at better than 2%. She dropped out before the Iowa caucuses even took place. She was never really in the race. But she was there long enough to accuse Joe Biden in a debate of being an anti-busing segregationist, which he indeed was. That aside, the Democrats were able to get Biden to agree to take on Harris as his running mate, and an identity politics marriage made in hell was born. Hell is in a headache is what Harris has been for the Biden team for more than 3 years now. You know why? She became notorious for not being able to keep her staff. They all kept quitting on her, saying how awful she was. Every public speech has been one mangled affront to the English language after another. But worst of all, her special assignment in this administration has been to be the border czar. The border czar. The biggest disaster of all for the Biden administration. The open borders was supposed to be Vice President Harris's area of responsibility and expertise. And I want you to think about that for a moment. She is the border czar of a wide open border. And now they're running her for president. One of the two biggest issues. Bidenomics and the border. She's a sacrificial lamb. She's a stone-cold loser. If they push her forward and all the endorsements are there. Nobody's going to run with her either. I'll tell you about that coming back. Nobody of significance anyway. It's the Steve Gruber Show.